Glad to find this building's been left. Not often you find a JTF facility abandoned like this. Isaac, confirm the connection to JTF servers is still active.
Please stand by. Shade agent credentials authenticated. Authorization granted.
Perfect. Alright, Isaac, search the system for anything related to Keener.
Beginning search query. Search query finished.
I don't seem to have much here. Quite a bit on Theo Parnell, though. Isaac, switch tasks. Pull up info on Parnell instead. Time to glean some truth from all this information.
Intelligence System Analytic Computer is activated. All ISAC systems are confirmed online. Warning. Your division affiliation has been disavowed. You are now marked as rogue. Retrieving encrypted message.
Keener, come in.
This is Keener. What are we looking at, Theo?
2 guards on regular rotations, 6-hour shifts. They're JTF, not agents. Should be easy enough to handle.
Perimeter?
Roaming patrols every hour. 4 to 6-man squads. Again, shouldn't be a problem.
And the building?
Isaac had the schematics for the building. I've mapped out a clear path to where Conley should plant the payload to do maximum damage to the building's infrastructure.
Great work, Theo. I don't know what I'd do without you.
Theo Parnell. One of Keener's warlords here in New York, Parnell is an amazing engineer and hacker who is responsible for the setup of the Rogue Network and its AI, Ana, and the development of many different weapons that rogue agents and their gangs use. He looks up to Aaron Keener and has followed him both because of this and his distrust of the government and the division itself. We all know that distrust is earned too. If it wasn't for us, the common folk wouldn't know a damn thing about what's really going on. While Parnell attended school, he was accused of destroying his professor's car by driving it into a nearby lake, and due to hacking videos he had posted recently, as well as a video of the accident in question, Theo was the prime suspect. Due to his father's position, he was put into the spotlight for this, and reporters began to investigate the matter and throw accusations. This caused his father to defend his son's actions, stating that Theo was a good kid and trying to save his son's reputation by silently sweeping everything away, damaging his own reputation and image as a senator in the process.
Data scanned. Downloading files.
Congressman Parnell, do you have anything to say about Professor Spencer's recent allegations regarding your son, Theo?
I have nothing further to add. As I stated in my press release, these allegations are completely unfounded.
Professor Spencer shared his car's data logs with us this morning, which suggests that the software indeed was tampered with. It corroborates his story.
Which has nothing to do with my son. Now, if you'll excuse me.
4 months ago, your son posted hacking tutorials online, several of which featured similar car systems being cracked. Videos that have since been removed.
Look, I know my son. He's a smart, clever boy. He likes to pick things apart to see how they work. But he's a respectful, honorable, and kind young man.
Have you seen the video Theo posted of the accident?
I am confident that he will be fully exonerated. Thank you.
However, in a private discussion with his son, he asked outright if Theo did it, causing his son to give him the reason, being placed 4th in the class on midterms. That didn't sit right with Theo. He believed that conspiracy was being put into place. That is to say, that someone paid to have him fail to damage his and his father's reputation.
Retrieving encrypted message.
You hacked your teacher's car?
It's not like that.
What the fuck did you do, Theo?
I just tried to access the door locks. I messed up and accidentally put it into gear. It's not my fault he parked by a lake.
What the fuck is wrong with you? Why the hell would you do something like this?
Midterm grades were just posted, and there's no way I'm 4th in the class.
So you break into your teacher's car?
I saw the term paper sitting on his back seat. I thought if I read them, I could prove he was marking me down because he doesn't like me.
You think this teacher's got it out for you?
I think someone bought him off. There's no way I'm 4th. So, I used my phone to hack his car and get the proof I needed.
Jesus Christ, Theo. I'm calling your psychiatrist.
He was able to find his footing shortly after graduation, and decided to join the Navy as an RPA, or remotely piloted aircraft pilot. As well as an outstanding mechanical engineer, this is most likely what attracted the SHD to him, and allowed him to join the ranks as an agent of the division. During a psych evaluation, the SHD determined that Theo had an extensive analytical way of thinking, but was flawed in his incredible cautiousness of others, as well as his inability to trust higher authority figures, putting in a side note that this could be a problem later on. During the beginnings of the pandemic, Theo was activated along with the rest of the first wave agents to hold the quarantine zone. However, due to their own incompetence with the controlling population as well as the rising violence from the gangs in New York, they abandoned and locked away what would become the Dark Zone. Theo was one of the first few first-wave agents to escape being locked behind the walls, potentially due to his father's connections. Shortly after this, his father was found and diagnosed with a heart attack, which Theo did not believe to be the true cause of death. Theo believed instead that Senator Kensington had his father killed to protect President Wallace, who had been under scrutiny from Henry Parnell due to a claim of campaign finance violations.
Object of interest detected.
How can you believe that horse shit? You really think Dad had a heart attack?
I really think that's what the doctor said.
He never smoked. He ran 10 miles a day, ate clean. He was a fucking vegan.
Just because he was vegan doesn't mean he was healthy. French fries are vegan.
You know Dad was trying to impeach President Waller for campaign finance violations.
Don't start this shit again, Theo.
Then his autopsy report goes missing.
Theo.
Harry, they fucking cremated him. They destroyed evidence. You ever hear of digitalis? Foxglove? It can stop your heart, and without that report, there's no way to know if they even tested for it. You know he had enemies, all right? Senator Kensington had it out for him. You know she ruined his presidential bid. Harry? Harry? Did you hang up on me? I still can't pin anything directly to Kensington. She was out of D.C. when it happened, and I don't have any records of meetings or calls with anyone who could carry out a hit. She's smart. Probably knew I would look at her first. I need to find another angle. Even if they use burner phones and have staffers scrubbing their data, there's no way they can completely cover their tracks. Eventually, they'll expose themselves, and I'll be ready. I know Kensington had my dad killed to protect Waller. I know why, I know how, I just can't prove it. Yet.
While out patrolling Lower Manhattan one night, shortly after both the fall of the quarantine zone and the death of his father, Theo ran into fellow First Wave and recently turned rogue agent Aaron Keener near the Arch. Pointing his gun at Keener, he began to tell him to surrender. But due to his already growing distrust of the government, as well as his own conspiratorial thinking, it was easy for Keener, who he already held in great regard, to convince Theo to join him when they met. Playing towards his strengths, Keener convinced Theo that corruption had already taken root even in the division itself, and offered him a chance to look into all his theories and allegations. Theo jumped on the opportunity, and joined Keener in going rogue at this point.
Alert. Encoded message.
ISAC's got restrictions. Clearance levels that you can't access. There's still plenty of the powers that be don't want you to know.
Like, what really happened?
To the first wave?
Yeah. Everything's a rumor, but we've got cameras and mics everywhere. It shouldn't be this hard to find out the truth.
It's only hard when they want it to be hard.
So it's true. They left you to die? Cut their losses because we're expendable?
Yeah, that's the fine print on the contract. We are the last line of defense when the shit hits the fan. But really, they're just using us to shield them from the shit.
I wish I knew who they are.
Well, they're easy to spot. Just look for who's still clean. Who still has resources that they shouldn't have.
You think the same people behind my dad's death are responsible for the first wave?
I wouldn't be surprised. Everyone has secrets, Theo. And the kind of people who can keep what happened to your dad secret have friends in high places. But if you really want to know what happened, I can help you. I got friends in higher places.
Isaac, what was that?
Please stand by. Alert. Hostiles are headed this way.
I don't like being here. Let's wrap this up and get out of here before something shows up.
Joining Keener as his tech specialist, he began upgrading Keener's arsenal, supplying more lethal versions of SHD tech to Keener's people, as well as many of the Rikers working with Keener. Keener also asked for Theo's help in hacking and reprogramming the navigational systems for the ground-to-air missile launcher that contained the warheads with Chernako's new virus, as well as creating the rogue network in its entirety, even creating Anna to function as the ISAC of this new network. Along with many of the other tools the rogue agents have been using, this could be useful for future situations.
Retrieving encrypted audio communication.
How's the hunt going? You get any new leads for my intel?
You were right. There's so much shit to uncover. Did you know that Mendez didn't commit suicide?
Oh yeah, that's clearly a hit.
You think the same people are responsible for my dad?
That's possible. Your dad and Ellis never really saw eye to eye. He wasn't the kind of man you could easily control or manipulate, unlike Ellis.
I didn't think Ellis had that much power.
Well, he's president now. He's always been ambitious. Wouldn't surprise me if he felt threatened by your dad, worried about him taking speaker in the next election cycle if the majority turned.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Theo, if you're not too busy, I could use your help with something.
Sure. What do you need?
Do you think you'll be able to hack and reprogram an encrypted guidance system?
Well, I can try. You know I love a challenge.
Isaac, any chance we could get access to this new network?
Beginning search query. 0 matches.
And never mind then, I'll look into it later.
How's it going?
Good. Drag-Up's parts were in pretty good shape. Just need to mill some new fittings and we should be good to go.
Well, what do you need?
The good way or the shitty way?
The shitty way.
Find me some sheet metal and a soldering iron and I can make some hinges and a new cone.
And the good way?
Get me access to a CNC or metal lathe and I can grind a new one.
I see what I can do.
While focusing on all of this, Parnell told Keener he would need a base of operations, and Keener provided, putting him up in the Civic Center district at the abandoned detention complex now labeled The Tombs, where he worked on creating Ana and setting up everything the Rogue Network would need, while also working on any other projects Keener would give him. Keener understood Parnell's use, and decided to use James Dragoff's forces to allow for protection for Parnell, to make sure no premature demise happened before he could finish the task needed of him. For this, Dragoff sent a group of Rikers under the leadership of Dragoff's trusted lieutenant simply known as the Judge, to keep Theo safe and protect him from any foreseen threats.
Object of interest detected.
Dragoff sent you?
Yeah.
Nice to meet you. I'm Theo.
Judge.
So, where's the executioner?
Dragoff said you needed protection.
I don't need protection.
Okay. Look. I know you don't want us here. Stomping all over your precious, whatever the fuck this shit is.
Don't worry about it.
But here's the deal. That red ring puts a target on your back. And Dragoff doesn't want anyone to kill you prematurely.
Huh. That's very thoughtful of him.
So we'll stick around until Dragoff tells us to leave. Honestly, I don't give a shit, one way or the other. I'm just hoping some division fuckhead will try to kill you so I can get another trophy.
Right. Well, that's cool. Anyway, I'll be upstairs.
Thanks to this protection, he was able to finish both the reprogramming of the navigation for the missiles as well as the Rogue Network itself, and supply any tech that Keener's other groups would need to make sure his plan succeeded. Moving away from the Keener side of things, Parnell was able to do quite a bit of digging into many different parts of his conspiracies. He discovered evidence that suggests President Mendez did not commit suicide, perhaps linking it instead to President Ellis. In regards to Ellis as well, it seems that perhaps he was the one to have Theo's father killed instead of Kensington, to prevent Henry Parnell from taking the Speaker of the House from him in the next election. Keener fueled these findings by telling him of his own dealings with Ellis and directing Parnell in many directions to keep him busy. Due to this, as well as perhaps more evidence that isn't listed, Theo began to send out broadcasts early on to his relationship with Keener, begging other agents, both first and second wave, to, quote, look into the data, to not trust him, but to check the logs themselves and see some truth that he uncovered inside their database.
Hostile broadcast picked up.
Attention all agents. This is an emergency alert. The division is compromised. You have been led to believe that you serve a noble cause, that you are empowered to do whatever it takes to save what remains. But you don't know the whole story. You don't know who's pulling the strings and giving the orders. The truth is that you are all unknowingly serving a shadowy group of profiteers, a group that doesn't want to restore democracy and freedom, but create a fascist plutocracy that only benefits themselves. The division is nothing but a tool to serve their agenda. The division does not serve the state, it does not serve the people. Look at the data. Don't take my word for it. Look for yourselves. You'll see I'm telling the truth.
If the government hadn't dropped the ball so hard, this guy would have made a brilliant addition to the movement to help the original quarantine zone. But what's done is done. Keener's plan has been set in motion, and as much as the division and the government is throwing against him, I'm not sure they'll be able to stop him. Not that I want them to. Theo and the other lieutenants are each a force to be reckoned with, and it's quite honestly just another mark in Keener's favor that he was able to convince each of them to join him. Keep your eyes wide and your mind open. The Green Poison and Aaron Keener aren't done with us yet. We've got a lot more to uncover here. Until then, I'm out. ISAC Intel is a Filmsel Studios production based off the video game series The Division, developed by Massive Entertainment and published by Ubisoft. All story elements, locations, and names are works of fiction unless otherwise specified by Massive Entertainment or Ubisoft. ISAC Intel and Filmson Studios are not affiliated with Massive Entertainment or Ubisoft in any way, shape, or form outside of our use of their world as a base for our story. All episodes are recorded, edited, and produced by me, Cole Smith. Project management thanks to Katherine Minton. Writing assistance from Joshua Johannsen and Louis Villegas. You can find Filmson Studios and ISAC Intel online, as well as all of our social media links by going to filmsomstudios.com. You can find Joshua Johannsen on social media by searching @ReconMonkey. That's monkey spelled Monkee. From the bottom of my heart, thank you for being a part of our community. We'll see you in 2 weeks.